All right, we're getting to the good stuff for the Phoenix Suns. Playoff basketball is almost here, and that's why we got to bring in our Suns insider, Flex from Jersey. Flex, just give us your thoughts. KD is back. He's healthy. Is it enough time of the regular season to get ready for the postseason?
I do think so, Rich. I do think so. I think it's a different dynamic. I think the chemistry of the team behind the scenes has been terrific with practice and some of the nuances with Monty Williams. And so I think it's actually an advantage. I think there's going to be some teams that are going to worry about this Phoenix Suns team for the sake that there's going to be a lack of tape on this basketball team. And going into the playoffs, they're kind of the mystery team, but the very dangerous team when it all boils down.
One thing that really impressed me was KD had an off night in his first game back. He was 1 for 8, 3 points in the first half, but the rest of the guys did well. The entire starting lineup had double digits, and they win by 7 points easily.
Yeah, you know, that was an interesting game because the Suns shot 40% from the field, 30% from three, 77 from the free throw line. That's typically a game you lose. On a night where Kevin Durant shoots 5 for 18, that's typically a game you lose. So the fact that they can play that game in mud, for lack of better words, and still come out with a win against a very good Minnesota team is very promising.
And when they had guys out, like Kevin Durant, DeAndre Ayton, other guys had to start that normally wouldn't. And that seems to be a good thing because now these guys are battle-tested. The bench seems to be taking form. You got Tony Buckets, TJ Warren, the Human Torch, my guy Terrence Ross. You got Bismack Biyombo. They seem to be ready to do their part and their role come playoff time.
Yeah, you know, I think it was a blessing in disguise. I really do. You know, they went through their lumps and they had their problems. But during that stretch, Monty was able to find that identity and find that, you know, the chemistry that he's looking for. And it's hard to get that without these type of dynamics. But now that he's figuring it out, the rotation shrunk the other day. You saw that. And I think this is, again, a blessing in disguise for a team that's going to be very dangerous come playoff time.
We all know, come playoff time, the game becomes more physical. It slows down. They bang a lot more. Do the Suns have to make sure they're not worried about the refs or worried about getting called and who's not getting a call, who's getting a call, and just focus on the game, especially come playoff time?
That's a great question. And I had this conversation recently with one of my guys within the league. And, you know, I thought before Kevin came back, the arguments with the refs and the controversies with the refs were a lack of having enough firepower. But I think once Kevin comes back, I think this team believes that they can get a bucket. They can leave the foul trouble alone, and they can get a bucket when they need it. And so I think this dynamic with Kevin Durant solves a lot of these problems.
And it seems like the Suns got healthy when they needed it, right? You got, you know, DeAndre Ayton's back, Kevin Durant's back, Cam Payne is back. Was that the plan the whole time? Was like, look, we'll sacrifice a seed or two as long as we make sure we're fresh and healthy heading into the postseason?
I think that's always been the plan, Rich. I think that's always been the plan. This team, they just came off a finals run 2 years ago. They're battle tested. They know who they are. They know who their identity is. I don't think they're a regular season team anymore. This is a team that knows the real season is the playoffs. And they're geared up, they're ready to go, and good for Cam Payne. We saw the real campaign the other night. I thought that third quarter was terrific, and I'm hoping it leads to a couple games, 2, 3, 4 games of momentum going into the playoffs for a guy like Cam Payne, which I think is the X factor for this basketball team.
All right, well, let's talk playoffs. Who do you see the Suns playing in the first round? Who do you think they'll match up against, and how do you think they'll do?
I like them at the 4th spot. I really do. I think that these last games are going to unwind. I think they're going to finish the season in a spot where they'll get home court in the first round with the 4 seed. I do think that the Clippers right now are looking like the team that the Phoenix Suns are probably headed on a collision course with. But it's so tight, Rich.
I know.
It's so tight. You got 6 through 12. Anything can happen with a 1-2 game winning streak. And I think the team you got to watch out for is Golden State.
Yeah, I knew
that team is sitting there.
Yeah.
And I don't know that anybody wants to sign up for a Phoenix Suns Golden State battle in the first round, because those might be the best 2 teams in the Western Conference.
Yeah, because the West is tough. Like you said, they're all bunched up. I know Golden State seems to be peaking at just the right time. Like they know, they looked at the schedule, all right, playoff time, let's crank it up. Any other team besides Golden State that you're like, Because when I look at everybody else, I like the way they match up against them.
You know what? This is a very dynamic situation in the sense that the top 3 seeds in the Western Conference could potentially be out in the first round. And we never see this. Right now, in the Western Conference, you might be looking at 6, 7, and 8. They may be more comfortable than most teams in that spot have ever been in the Western Conference. So it's so hard to tell, but if you're number 1 and you're the Denver Nuggets, Do you really want to run into LeBron James and the Lakers as the prize for getting the first seed in the West? Those are the dynamics of the Western Conference. So, I mean, it's so close right now, Rich. It's something I've never seen in the Western Conference, and it's going to be a heck of a lot of fun, man.
You see, this is why this guy right here is our Suns insider. Flex from Jersey always has the inside scoop. Appreciate you, buddy. Good job.
I appreciate you, Rich, my man.